Good morning, I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our Commissioners meeting for September the 30th of 2021. It's officially fall, if you haven't noticed. I love this time of year. My favorite season is fall. We are broadcasting live on Microsoft Teams live event, as well as BCTV and Facebook and YouTube live. At this time, I want to recognize my executive assistant, Mary Buer.
Thank you. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by the limitations of the platform being used: Teams Q&A, Facebook, or YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Mary. We will begin, as we always do, with a moment of silence followed by a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will begin this morning with a special presentation. We do this a couple times a year. And we are very pleased today, always to have Dr. Looney with us, but today we also have Dr. Anthony DeMarco. He is Vice President of College Advancement and the Executive Director of the Foundation for the Reading Area Community College. Along with Dr. Looney, who's the President, they're going to present an update on the very exciting RAC 50th Anniversary Celebration and events. With that, I'll recognize Mr. Anthony DeMarco.
Good morning, everyone, and
good morning.
My heartfelt thanks for giving us this time, and my thanks to President Looney for bringing me on board about a year ago. It's been a great first year, and it's a warm welcome by the RAC family, and I want to say once again how grateful we are to this for the sponsorship that the commissioners have given us at RAC, and we are doing the good work that I know you've charged us with. So we had a good first year. We got the NEOG grant. We just 65 nurses recently received a scholarship through a $300,000 grant from the NEOG Family Foundation. That it goes a long way at RAC. We're able to have these young people working hard in our health sciences, and they'll go right in to a healthcare career in Berks County. That was year one. Year two, we have some exciting news. Does everybody have a copy of this newsletter? I think we put them on the table. Does anyone need one? I have extras. Everybody's got it? Okay. Like one. There you go. Our Director of Marketing Communications, David Hessen, put this wonderful brochure, and when I thought about how best to present what we're doing, I said, this this newsletter, I think, was so well done. This captures everything. So as you open the pages, you will see a wonderful photo of President Looney there on page 2. But then turn the page and you will see a little historical statement and some photos. And then November 10th, the 50th anniversary at the Doubletree. We are celebrating 50 years and we're looking forward to the future as well. And we were trying to think of who would be the right speaker. Now we have an endowment for a speaker, but the endowment had some very tight restrictions. They didn't want a politician. The Rolf Schmidt, who set the endowment, so no politician, didn't want an entertainer. He wanted someone that attended a community college, and he wanted someone with tech background. So I'm figuring there's nobody that fits that qualification. Well, our new booking specialist at the Miller Center said, I have an idea. Do you know that the co-founder of Apple attended a community college? And, with Steve Jobs, he founded one of the great companies, tech companies in the world, one of the great companies in the world. And he might just say yes. So after some outreach and some, begging on my knees, we got Steve Wozniak, the Woz, to come to speak at our 50th gala on November 10th. It's going to be a very special night. We're very happy to know that the commissioners are coming. We're raising money for 3 unique initiatives. One is for the Reading High School RAC Opportunity Scholarship to create an endowment so that students from Reading High School will be able to attend RAC in perpetuity. Another one is for workforce development scholarships. One of the real hallmarks of RAC is our workforce development programming, where those jobs are so critical in today's society, whether it's nursing aides or cybersecurity or dental technician or all the great work that's done in the Schmidt Center. So we are establishing more scholarships for workforce development and then emerging needs, because you never know what President Looney and our team will need to address. So those are our initiatives. And to date, we've raised close to $500,000, and we still have 5 weeks to go before the big day. So it's going to be exciting. You're going to hear more about it as we get closer. But that is what we're celebrating on November 10th. We're putting a series of videos together that we're going to show that night. We're going to have student speakers. We're going to honor some of the great local leaders that have served on the foundation through the years. And then the Woz will do a question and answer. He'll do a little sit down. And I think it'll be one of those nights that Berks County never forgets. As you page through here, I do want to point out that we are also coming to life at the Miller Center. The Miller Center, and I should say, take a look at the timeline in the middle of this newsletter, where you can see whether it's President Zogas, President Kratz, President Weitz, and all the milestone events through the years. But then when you get to this page, the Miller Center is back. After a year and a half in these rough times when the performing arts were unable to continue, we are coming back with a vengeance. We have 3 dog night. They're not listed. This is a top secret concert that we weren't allowed to announce until September 11th after publication. One of the great bands in rock and roll history is coming a week from Saturday to the Miller Center. And you know the songs, Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog, Joy to the World, and just an old-fashioned love song. There's about 12 number 1 hits they had. And in 1971, Joy to the World was the number 1 song in the nation that year. So if you're not doing anything on October 9th, come out to the Miller Center, and we have a big slate of events that we're excited to present to the Reading community, Berks County community over the next year. So there you have it. Is there anything I missed, President Susan?
That's it. And just as always, thank you for your sponsorship and your support, commissioners. Thank you for having us today. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for being here. It just struck me, and it's amazing. You're here 14 years. You think you've thought about everything, in this case about RAC, that you could or should. But from time to time, people ask, what does the county do for the city? RAC. We are the sole sponsor of the Reading Area Community College. We've had a great partnership. A lot of people miss that in addition to the core sponsorship, we've had an ongoing effort on a variety of capital projects, primarily through CDBG funding with Ken Pick's team, to continue to support RAC. And while RAC is a benefit to all the residents of Berks County, it is particularly important, and probably the most significant portion of the student body is from the city of Reading. So it's another great thing that the county does, and I don't take credit for creating this relationship. The timeline's here. It is scary that I'm older than RAC, though. It's better than being older than dirt, but I'm definitely older than RAC. So is Commissioner Barnhart. What were you, one?
One, yep.
So he's close. But I really appreciate the work that you do, and we are thrilled to sponsor a college that is nimble. That's what community colleges are. That's what community colleges do. They're able, and they're designed to be able to respond to community needs, to business needs, very quickly compared to traditional colleges and universities. And that's not taking anything away from them. Many of our graduates go on to a master's degree or to other types of four-year programs. But RAC is a necessity in our community and a great service and worth celebrating. I sent my video in yesterday for, I guess you're doing a montage of congratulations, but thank you very much. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dr. Looney. Any comments, thoughts from my colleagues?
Going down memory lane, I remember the front page article about the Holiday Inn groundbreaking during Tropical Storm Agnes in 1972. So what an amazing transformation from the Holiday Inn to what you are today. So
And we are just.
keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what? There's a Holiday Inn commercial there.
That's right.
This is where I slept at a Holiday Inn. That's where it started. When Holiday Inn became a school, they were finally able to say, yes, I'm brilliant because I slept at a Holiday Inn.
That's great.
We may steal that. That's really good.
Yeah.
We won't ask for any copyright or anything. So,
What do you mean we?
well, I started this.
Yeah,
conversation,
you've been using that line for a while here.
I'd like to thank RAC for all the work they do. Actually, Barbara graduated from RAC and then continued on to the sales. So we have someone here who is a result of RAC. So I want to also thank you for the work that
Graduate.
right here as well. So we have a few RAC graduates in here that are now with the county. And also you do much more than just the 2-year career to allow people to go then into either a bachelor's or and move on to a master's. But you also have the short programs, the certificate programs, the megatronics programs, which are all programs that are needed because not everyone wants to have a 4-year college path. Some do, some don't, some want 2 years, but others want to be able to get a certificate, be it in the medical field, in advanced manufacturing, in other areas, and that's something that you supply as well. And it's something that's very needed here in Berks County with all the manufacturers that we have, also being a major healthcare provider as well. So thank you for the work that you do and for serving our community.
Thank you. Thank all of you commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to present today, and thank you for allowing us to be the community's college.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
It's now time for our weekly COVID-19 data report. That data report is going to be presented by Brian Gottschall. He is our director of the Berks County Department of Emergency Services. Brian Gottschall.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you very much. Yes, September 30th, our weekly data report. Starting out with our testing and case slide, You'll take note kind of on the right-hand side of the screen there, we see that little up and down blip. The last time we looked at this a week ago, we were in the middle of that up and down blip and hoped that that portended the beginning of a downward trend. Unfortunately, it did not. We are still looking at a rising case count over our smooth 14-day period. The good news that it's rising at a much less steep rate than it had been prior to that blip. So I'm sure that folks have seen in the media that there's a lot of reporting about how much of the nation is over the Delta surge and is on kind of the backside of the curve. While that is not the case in Berks County or in Pennsylvania as a whole, we hope that we will soon be following suit behind those states that saw the early Delta surge much sooner than Pennsylvania did, and that we will begin tracking downward again soon also. Good news front, as we've said over the last couple reports, is that our our testing numbers are also very high, which makes us feel pretty confident that our case count rates are accurate and that we're not overlooking a large amount of COVID in the community. Again, case testing and case count go hand in hand to positivity, and we are still seeing very high positivity numbers above the 20% when we're looking at both our confirmed as well as suspected cases, taking into account rapid antigen testing. We have a disproportionately high number of cases in Berks County that are diagnosed with rapid antigen testing. One would imagine that that's due to our very robust healthcare system and the fact that that testing is out there and available in the community, whereas it is not the case in many counties throughout the Commonwealth. Our hospital numbers are up still week over week. Again, looking at both confirmed as well as suspected cases in-house, we are still seeing that great publication of information regarding vaccinated versus unvaccinated in St. Joe's, still asking our partners at Reading to deliver their information in that way to help the community to understand the impact of vaccination in avoiding significant illness, including that would result in ICU admission and ventilator need. Our deaths continue to be that lagging indicator behind our cases. When you look at our death curve along with our case curve, we do see them tracking very much with a visually similar presentation, and we're very anxious to see us get over that death hump, but unfortunately that comes behind our case count hump, which, as we illustrated, we're still on an upward rise in. Not a whole lot to say about vaccinations this week. Our numbers are very static, both in the raw numbers as well as the per capita numbers when compared with other counties in the state. We continue to see small increases week over week in trying to achieve our percent of the population over the 18 is vaccinated. Pennsylvania is now very close to its 70% goal. Berks County trails a little bit behind, but continues to close in on that number week over week. When we look at our numbers for those who have already received their first dose, we continue to still see a very large percentage of people in Berks County who appear to be long-term one-dosers that are not going to go and finish their numbers. And when we correct for that statistical anomaly, we see that even with those at least first dosers, we have not yet reached our 70% goal of those over 18. Continued good news in that since May 26th, we lead Pennsylvania as far as growth of vaccinated individuals in all categories except that of the 12 to 18 year group. Some changes to our vaccine strategy updates. As we've been talking about for the last couple weeks, folks who are immunocompromised are encouraged to secure a third dose of vaccine if they're 4 weeks out from their second dose of either Pfizer or Moderna, either of the messenger RNA vaccines. New this week is now that Pfizer-only recipients who are 6 months out from their second dose and fall into the category of either being 65 or older or 18 to 64 with high at risk due to underlying medical conditions or work or living settings are now encouraged to seek a third dose, a booster dose of that vaccine. This does not yet apply to Moderna recipients. It also does not apply to the Janssen J&J vaccine. This leads us to the question of, well, what does high risk mean? And I would encourage people to go to, I'm going to do this slide backwards, I apologize. I would encourage people to go to CDC and look at the information for themselves. We provided the link down here in the slide, but it's a very complicated link, and the very easy way to do this is just to do a web search in your favorite browser for CDC COVID booster, and that'll get you to the CDC page that talks about this. But generally, high risk is those who are working in the fields that are defined here on the slide, or who are living in these conditions that are defined here in the slide. The underlying medical conditions category is much too complicated to deliver in this way in a single PowerPoint slide. So for that, we definitely do encourage people to go to the CDC website and take a look at what that entails. Again, as always, doyourpartberks.com, www.doyourpartberks.com. Great resource to find locations within Berks County where you can seek vaccine, either because you're a late adopter and are just starting the series now, or because you fall into one of those categories for either an extended third dose or a booster dose. With that, Commissioners, back to you unless there are any questions.
Yes, Brian, can you go back to the slide regarding the booster and the third dose?
Yep. This one or the first one, Commissioner?
The next one. It should be the next one.
Yep.
Okay. So could you explain why there's a 4-week for immunocompromised and there's 6 months for the second dose? Is there a justifiable reason for that? Or I get, from my standpoint, it gets a little confusing.
Absolutely. And I think that this drive, oh, sorry. Yes, I can explain that, and I think it drives back to what I've been encouraging over the last number of weeks. We commonly refer to this third dose for the immunocompromised as a booster, and we've kind of been talking about it society-wide in an erroneous way in saying that, you know, the first booster doses were approved for the immunocompromised people, and now we have this second package of booster doses approved for those at the bottom of the slide. That's technically not correct. The third dose for the immunocompromised folks is not a booster dose. In actuality, what the FDA and the CDC have said is that a normal vaccine administration for the immunocompromised is now a 3-dose vaccination, much like it's a 2-dose vaccination for the normal population. So in essence, you'll recall that when you got your second dose of your messenger RNA vaccine, it was 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the type of vaccine, after the first dose. That's the reason that there's a now 4-week spread after your second dose to your third dose, because it is not a booster. It is actually a third dose in the normal series necessary to generate the immune response in those who are immunocompromised. Compare that to the bottom part of the slide. This is actually the first availability of real booster doses for any segment of the population, and why it is spread out a longer period of time.
Thank you. I think that helps to further clarify the differences.
And Stephanie Weaver's here on our audience. Can we update our Do Your Part website with the booster information and the link to the CDC? I was looking, I don't see it here. Where would it be? Okay, I'm looking here. Local vaccine opportunities. I'm looking online.
Medicine shop. So they start offering third shot, the ones that the antibodies.
Okay, may want to make that because people are looking for boosters, especially separating the two, because one's not a booster. One's a 3-shot regimen, the other one's a booster, because I went through the whole page and I missed that.
And just to be clear, Commissioner, I'm sorry. For folks that are seeking this, the stuff that's in the syringe is no different. So in essence, it's not like somebody might be giving initial doses of Pfizer, but they're not giving boosters. It's not a different formulation. So basically, if you're able to find a location that's administering vaccine, in specific the Pfizer vaccine, they would be able to help you irrespective of whether you're getting it as your third dose for immunocompromised or as your booster dose because you fall into one of those categories, or if you're just starting an mRNA series.
Very good.
So not to add more confusion, but if someone received 2 Modernas, would they be okay to get the third as a Pfizer?
No, the recommendation is not to mix brands. If you are immunocompromised and receive 2 doses of Moderna, you should go and get a 3rd dose of Moderna to finish out your immunocompromised normal series.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I believe we have a public comment related to this. Is that correct, Mary?
It is. John Archer from Spring Township. Has the county's contact tracing identified areas? So I guess it goes more with the contact tracing. Organizations, businesses, or other entities that seemingly are COVID hotspots.
Okay.
And the short answer is yes, Cook County Wellness does track those, and they're predominantly your larger congregate areas like schools, assisted living centers and the like. So it's really areas where there's multitudes of people congregating. It had been tracking actually in the spring and late winter and early spring was almost all schools and daycare centers and those sorts of things. But Cook County Wellness does track that.
Anything else for Brian before we go to another comment? Sure.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, if I could.
Okay, I'm looking at agenda.
Sorry, Commissioner, if I could. Mr. Archer, as he often does, raises a question that opens the door to a good piece of information for the community. And that is kind of how contact tracing works. And it's very important to understand that when someone is COVID positive and their information is entered into the state and national system that tracks infectious diseases, the first outreach to that person actually comes from the Department of Health. And it's a subcomponent of the contact tracing effort that is referred to as case investigation. And that case investigation is what results then in a list of potential contacts that allow Cook County Wellness to go forward and do their contact tracing. And I just bring this to light because it's very important to realize that if your first outreach is from DOH, even though they're, from Harrisburg, they're not the local folks, they're not the people that you normally may feel comfortable interacting with, we would really encourage folks to engage and respond to those individuals just like they would if they were getting outreach from a local medical partner like Cook County Wellness, because that could be the start of the process that gets us into the contact tracing piece and is very important in helping us to notify folks that they may have had an exposure and make recommendations to them about the steps that they should undertake. So there are a lot of subtleties in this that have to do with differences when it's an institutional exposure, depending on age group. There's a questionnaire that could be involved that makes the process a little bit easier. That isn't part of the state-defined process for those who are over or under certain ages. But really the walkaway is to encourage folks to engage if they get a reach out or a call from the Department of Health in the same way that they would engage if that reach out is from one of our local partners at Cook County Wellness. Really important to get the process rolling.
Very good. Thank you. With that, Commissioner Barnhart, will turn to you for the contact tracing.
That question from John Archer dovetails right into Cook County Wellness's report that now is 2-week period. The period from September 15th to September 29th, we've seen a significant increase in new contacts of 794. We were trending more in the 200 to 300 range. Now we're at 794. And our successful contact of people for contact tracing is 69.3. Again, that's dipping as well. We were tracking usually 70+%. So again, a strong encouragement for people who do receive a call from the folks at Cook County Wellness to be part of a contact tracing process. It certainly tries to narrow down the field and get people out of the general public area and get them isolated for a period of time to stop the spread of the virus. Thank you.
Any questions for Commissioner Barnhart? Very good. That does remind me, I understand that, was it last week I had to leave early for a meeting that Commissioner Rivera disrespected you, Commissioner Barnhart, by calling you Commissioner Leinbach?
So you feel that that's disrespectful?
No, I feel sorry for you.
So who should he really apologize to? You or?
Oh, to both of us.
Okay.
I did hear about that,
I take it all in.
and I didn't hear it from Commissioner.
I won't follow up with his comments.
I know, we don't need to go there.
I did get him back eventually.
Yes, I heard that too.
This is worse, but no.
Okay, with that, are there any additions or corrections for the September 23rd Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session yesterday, September 29th, dealing with personnel. Mary, is there any other public comment on specific agenda items?
There are not.
Okay. Item 1, authorizing under that budget department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2021 budget transfers in the amount of $50,218 and 2021 appropriations in the amount of $105,770 per listing dated September 27th of 2021. We have several items under human resources. Item 1, authorize the promotion of Andrew Knoll, Senior Governmental Accountant, Team Lead, to Manager of Financial Reporting and Accounting in the Controller's Office. Item 2, authorize a salary adjustment for Kristen Ketch, Executive Assistant, Court Administration. Item 3, authorize a salary adjustment for Rochelle Warner, Caseworker Supervisor 2 in the Area Agency for Aging. We have one item listed under Commissioner Rivera, adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Jorge Diaz, Reading, Pennsylvania, to the Berks County Redevelopment Authority to fill the remainder of a 5-year term, which will expire on 12/31 of 2021. We have several items listed under the commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing Brian Gottschall, Director of the Berks County Department of Emergency Services, to execute on behalf of the County of Berks any necessary and required documents to permit potential tenants to perform due diligence tasks in investigating the use of the county emergency radio sites for possible occupancy. This is subject to review and approval by the County Solicitor's Office. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement between Pennsylvania American Water Company, Inc. and Pennsylvania Corporate and the County of Berks to disclose certain proprietary and confidential information or data relating to the PAWC's business operations, engineering, infrastructure, programs, facilities, and/or customer records, including digital data, which is of a sensitive and confidential nature. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of a letter of support to the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources in Washington on behalf of the County of Berks to express support for Senate Bill 1942, the National Heritage Area Act of 2021, and whatever. Is this a Senate bill or is this a section? I don't know what I'm.
Probably Senate Bill 1940.
Yeah, it just repeats it, of 2021. Senate Bill 1942, which will provide long-term stability of the national heritage areas. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing Ronald Seaman, Chief Administrative Officer, and Paul T. Bradshaw, Assistant Solicitor, acting singly or together to act as representatives of the county in negotiations with the United States Department of Agriculture in regard to the proposed lease agreement between the county and the USDA for office space located at the Berks County Agricultural Center in Leesport, Pennsylvania, and that the Board of Commissioners further authorize Scott O. Graham, AAI, LEED, AP, to communicate directly with the USDA on behalf of the county in regard to the proposal, with or without a county representative present during the communication, provided, however, that said Scott O. Graham shall have no authority to bind the county to any terms regarding the proposal discussed during such communications without further action of the Board of Commissioners. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated September the 27th of 2021. There are a total of 4 contracts, one with Children and Youth Services, one with Facilities, one with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities, and one with the Sheriff's Department. And then finally, a motion to authorize execution of payments and electronic transfers as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing dated September the 30th of 2021.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. We'll turn now to our Berks County Treasurer. Well, actually not our treasurer. Our treasurer's not available. The Deputy Treasurer, Linda Weaver, with the County Treasurer's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance of $220,249,229.41. We have a balance to clear of $3,874,876.75, leaving us with a balance of $216,374,352.66.
And I will also note that the report shows that the American Rescue Plan money is virtually untouched. While we are waiting for final federal guidelines, I believe that we are going to begin looking at the process of an application process with 2 of my colleagues' areas of oversight. That makes a lot of sense in that area. The area that I oversee is completely different. So we already have been working on the broadband area, working on the sewer and water. The only area that we've not been able to touch is transportation, because things are so vague on the transportation side, can't do any work. But hopefully in the near future, those final rules will come into play. And when they do, we want to be in a position that we're ready maybe to make minor adjustments on applications, but we can't just be sitting here with needs and do nothing. So I know my colleagues have been working on their side. I don't know if you want to add anything before I go to the Controller's report.
It just goes to the transparency of the whole thing, and recognizing it's critical that the community knows that if and when this money is allocated to the community, how it was selected and what criteria was used to put the money out to its highest and best use.
Yep.
Okay. And just that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure people understand what is going on and why the money is largely untouched at
yes, and that everyone is able to participate in the process as well. You know, if they have a need, that it's open to everyone and not just certain people who may be reading the newspaper or listening to the news and not aware of what's going on. So just want to make sure that it's like we did with the CARES Act, where we had a process to make sure that it was equitable for everyone. We want to make sure we do the same thing here.
Absolutely. Thank you. At this time, we'll recognize our County Controller, Sandy Graffius, with the Controller's report. Sandy.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Total accounts payable, $6,589,793.76. We had a payroll, $4,442,893.80 for a grand total of $11,032,687.56.
Thank you very much, Sandy. And we'll now move to Ron Seaman, our Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Commissioner Linebuck. I have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. With that, we'll to commissioners, and we'll begin with Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Okay, going out of sequence, that's okay.
Sorry, I did it. We'll start with Commissioner.
That's okay.
I said Kevin Barnhart, but I meant Rivera.
Okay, got it. Commissioner Rivera, thank you. So just in keeping with the theme of today, the continuation of the COVID experience, there is a lot of activities going on out in the community, and people want to get out and recreate and do things with the community. Just remember the vital importance, keep social distancing as much as possible. Wear masks where appropriate, continue to wash your hands thoroughly. And if you do feel ill, stay home because we want these activities like Oktoberfest taking place the next several days. We'll be attending a small picnic for the Center for Excellence in Local Government today with about 80 people at in Muhlenberg Township.
Jim Dietrich Park.
Dietrich Park, thank you. We'll obviously be following those protocols as well. And it's just a matter of let's keep everybody healthy and safe, but at the same time, let's enjoy the fellowship, friendship, and fellowship we have in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Rivera.
Yes, a few things. Just wanted to let everyone know yesterday and today, mostly yesterday, I was attending the PA Latino Convention, which is being held right here next door in the DoubleTree. So we're honored that the group selected Reading and Berks County to host this event this year. There are different conferences that were going on, keynote speakers. You had a breakfast, a lunch, the gala last night where Latino leaders were honored for their service primarily in public office was the theme for last night. The convention goes on today. So I want to thank everyone who has participated in that. It was great because it brought people from around the state to Berks County. We're able to show off the city and the county as well.
I'm going to interject there. I was at a reception last evening, and you're not saying anything about it, but Commissioner Rivera had the opportunity to address the conference on behalf of the County of Berks. I heard from several of the attendees that you hit it out of the park, that you represented the county very well. We appreciate that very much. So thank you.
Thank you. Following on the emergency rental assistance program, new applications will be accepted until 3:30 p.m. on Monday, October 4th. The emergency rental assistance program office will continue to work with clients and their associated landlords who have submitted applications by the deadline. Any applications that are submitted after October 4th, but before October the 18th will be placed on a wait list. Applications received after October 18th will not be accepted. Make sure you're aware of these deadlines. Tenants who have already submitted an application and have questions can contact their assigned reviewer for assistance, and applicants can also check the status of their application with their case ID number at the bceh.org website. And applicants are asked to remain patient during the high volume of applications and the limited capacity of the coalition staff. If you have questions about the program or the application deadline, please contact the Berks Coalition 10 Homelessness at 610-372-7222. And people may be wondering why the applications are closing on October 4th and finally after the 18th is Berks County was allocated 3 different allocations for the emergency rental assistance program. And basically math had to be done and saying, okay, for each participant, this is the maximum amount of dollars that can be given to that participant. And then based on that, they say, well, have X amount of participants at a maximum of X amount of dollars. So there goes the money. So at some point in the future, if the amount that was allocated is not needed, then it may reopen again. Or if we get more money from either the state or the federal government, it may reopen again. But they just need to make sure that whoever has been accepted into the program is able to receive the funds that they need, and not say, well, you know what, we said you could get up to 12 months, but we ran out of money, so now you're actually getting up to 6 months. So that's why it's stopping at this point, just to make sure that everyone that has been accepted can get up to the maximum amount. It doesn't mean that they will need up to the maximum amount, but the money's basically being committed to that person until they find out that the needs of that person have ended. That was in a nutshell. Hopefully I didn't confuse you more than more than I had to. Also want to congratulate George Diaz on his becoming a member of the Berks County Redevelopment Authority. George, congratulations and welcome. George is very active in the community and in supporting the redevelopment of the county and the downtown as well. And one last thing, I also want to congratulate Michaela Davis. Michaela was just selected at a pageant in Blair County as the PA's new Dairy Princess. And she's from Berks County. She's a Schuylkill Valley High School graduate and she's 20 years old. So she will be representing the county throughout the state as the new Dairy Princess for Pennsylvania. So Michaela, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. I offer my congratulations to Michaela Davis as well. I know both her and her family quite well. In fact, her grandmother, one of her grandmothers, Donna Worley, has been, I think, Commissioner Barnhart, here every year with the ice cream social. She's been very active with the Dairy Princess program here in the county, and it's great to see one of our own win that title on a statewide basis. We've had several in recent years, not recent years, over the years from Berks County win that title. Two other things I want to touch on. One, last week, I think it was Thursday afternoon, Mary and I had an opportunity to tour the Reading Firefighters Museum. I had been there before, but some significant improvements had been made since the last time I was there. I really want to highlight this. This is a unique museum right here in Berks County. And when you think of a firefighters museum, I don't want you to think of a couple of firefighting axes and some helmets and some emblems. It's much, much more than that. Vehicles going back to the horse-drawn pumper, the bucket brigade, some amazing artifacts, but also amazing history for not just Reading, but Berks County firefighting. They have some financial needs that they are going to have to address. I know the city is actively looking at that. I am also, and I know Commissioner Barnhart's been there, Commissioner Rivera, I think, has been there. Although if they don't make these improvements, they lose an entire floor of access because of some codes issues. But this is a museum that benefits the entire community. If you want to go, you can visit them at 501 South 5th Street here in Reading. You can also go to their website and you can buy tickets online. Their website is readingfirefightersmuseum.com. Their regular hours are Thursdays 9 to noon, Saturdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's $5 for anyone 16 years and older. It's free for everyone under that age. And I would encourage you, this is a museum that will be interesting to both children and adults. There's just there's some amazing things. And former Chief Boyer is one of the real leads, and I know my colleagues will agree with this. It's really incredible listening to him because he was fighting fires back in the 60s. And so some of the items in the museum that look like, oh, we couldn't have used that fire, it's a fire pool station system that was on a corner of certain, what's that? The fire box that you would pull the button. Those were active, I think to the early 70s.
Yeah, I think they pulled them off in the mid-70s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's amazing. So I encourage you to go there. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about it, but it's another unique attraction here in Berks County. And then tomorrow, yet another museum is opening in Boyertown. I will be there for the ribbon cutting. And this is the General Carl A. Spaatz Museum. This is significant. General Spaatz was born in Boyertown, Pennsylvania in 1891. He was a pilot in World War I. He was in World War II, and under President Harry S. Truman, he was appointed as the first general to oversee the United States Air Force. That is a history that we have right here in Berks County. The Reading Regional Airport is named in his honor as well. So that's something I want you to be aware of. Again, that is opening tomorrow, and their location is 28 Warwick Street, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and the website is spatzmuseum.org, and Spaatz, just so you're aware, is SPAATZ, spatzmuseum.org. That is all that I have. With that, we'll open it up. Yes.
I just want to add something because you were talking about the Reading Area Fire Museum.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, October 16th, they're hosting Ghost Stories and Haunted Tales. And it will have, I'm sorry, I can't see here, Charles Adams III, who is an author and storyteller.
You want to try another pair of glasses?
No, I'm good, thanks. These just fog up. So that is the 16th. There's limited seating because it will be inside, and it starts at 7:13 p.m. on October the 16th. Tickets are $15 each. There's a link on Eventbrite to get them, which is too long to give out here. But if you go to the Reading Area Firefighters Museum website or give them a call, you'll be able to find out more information. Again, that's Saturday, October 16, a Ghost Stories and Haunted Tales event at their location there in one of the beautiful rooms that they have.
Very good. With that, any comments from our row officers? Yes, Sandy.
I'd like to announce that Oliver, our audit manager, and I will be attending the trainings for the election workers starting this afternoon to explain the debit card program so that everybody has a clear understanding of how the whole process works. We didn't do that in May, and that was one of our, we should have done that. So we're going to be starting this afternoon. We'll see the people over at the Ag Center, and at each training, we'll be showing up to give advice.
Thank you very much,
Appreciate
Sandy.
that, Sandy. Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we have no one present to speak, so I will turn to Mary. I believe we have one comment on the Microsoft Teams.
Okay, the comment is from Jean Archer, Spring Township. Regarding Berks County's sponsorship of RAC, what exactly does that entail? For example, does it include financial support, oversight of curricula, facilities interfaces, advisory board involvement, etc.?
Very good question, Jean. Actually, it involves several areas. There is a direct allocation annually by the county. It is in excess of $3 million. I don't know exactly what that number is. About $3.2 million, as quoted by Commissioner Barnhart, in case it's wrong. But it is, that's the approximate. Secondly, as I noted, from time to time, there are requests from RAC for assistance for certain capital projects. And in the past, we've addressed helping, not paying for the entire project, through money allocated from the Berks County Redevelopment Authority. When it comes to the role of the county does not have any kind of direct oversight role of curriculum or operations. However, the county, the three commissioners, do appoint each of the members of the Board of Trustees. And the trustees play a significant role in the oversight of that program. Just out of interest to the public, one of the first people I appointed to the RAC Board of Trustees years ago was Zilkia Rivera. And I know that all of us now have current appointees. I'm trying to think of some of mine. Anyhow, I won't go through that, but here's what I do. I can't speak for my colleagues, although I'm guessing it's similar. I look at the role. I look at the community that's being served, and I ask myself, what person out there has the qualifications and from a philosophical standpoint, going to be the right kind of person to be on that board, and are they passionate or committed? It's nice to appoint people, but if people don't show up, that's not good for anyone. And so I've done that through the years, and that's our role. That basically is the three areas. We support what they're doing. And I would add one other thing, and this is true in the two presidents I've known, Dr. White's and then more recently, Dr. Looney. They operate on a philosophy of no surprises. So if there's something that might happen, we always get a phone call or get a request for a call. They give us a heads up. This is what we're doing. They often ask for advice. I can remember, and I'm not going to bring up the circumstance, but they were contacted for a public meeting, and they were concerned about the commissioner's potential viewpoint on that. I know when they called me, I said and I believe it was Dr. Looney, I said, that's not a decision for the commissioners to make. Here's my personal position. But at the end of the day, I want you to know this is a decision for you and the Board of Trustees to make. And they ended up choosing not to have that entity come in and make a presentation. But that is how they're structured. Hopefully that helps. I don't know if my colleagues want to add anything.
I would like to add, so basically the funds in order to operate RAC come from the state. Us as a local sponsor is about $3.2 million in tuition. And as significant as all of that is also the endowments. You'll notice something like the Miller Center, Schmidt Technology and Training Center. These are all tremendous people in the, I may miss several, but many people have been able to help grow this campus from a Holiday Inn to what it is today.
Yoakum.
And Yoakum, thank you, Yoakum Library. So there are people that really truly believe in education in our community. We're so well moving forward, being able to put significant dollars into the infrastructure of that building, the buildings on that facility, and really serves the greater community and does a tremendous job of getting people through the process, either a 2-year onto a 4-year degree, and a lot of the technology and training that goes along with it. So we fully support it from a workforce investment standpoint to grow people in our community to stay here and thrive in our community as people with the skill set to succeed.
Yeah, companies like East Penn Manufacturing have been extremely involved with RAC really since the Megatronics program took off with the Schmidt Technology Centers. So it's not just traditional education. There's a lot of business, public-private partnerships in the true sense of the word when it comes to education and retraining or training up individuals in particular areas of expertise.
One of the things that's important to know as well, when they set up these programs, for example, the Megatronics, they're in communication with the local employers to see what the training needs are, what skills the employees will need, and that's what they focus on for certain programs and certain classes. So they're just not out there putting a program together to put a program together.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's what I was referencing when Dr. Looney and Mr. DeMarco were here, that a community college is designed to respond and react to those types of needs. Traditional colleges and universities aren't set up in that fashion, but community colleges are, and RAC's been a great partner. Any other comments? Hearing none, that will close our comment period. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
The meeting is adjourned.